In today's Final Touch, some Lyft riders in Miami were quite surprised when their ride-sharing car showed up.
First of all, the car was a turbo Porsche, and their Lyft driver was Will Smith, the actor. Turns out Smith has a 5-star superstar Lyft rating. He went undercover as a driver as part of a promotion called Bad Boys for Lyft. That's words that cross-promotes Lyft with Smith's new movie, Bad Boys for Life. The unsuspected passengers were very surprised by their celebrity driver. Not only did the experience lift their spirits, but the passengers also received a free year of Lyft rides.
Can you imagine? I love this.
Will Smith pulls up in a Porsche.
It's great.
He rides here.
That is great.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, an investigation continues in Dane County surrounding the homicide of Nicholas Day of Blue Mounds. We'll have the latest information.
Opening arguments begin in the impeachment trial of President Trump. We'll have the latest from Washington and hear what Wisconsin senators are saying about the trial.
And Governor Evers will give a state of the state tonight. We'll be live from the Capitol ahead of tonight's speech.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with us. The Dane County Sheriff's Office releasing new information in the homicide of a local veteran.
The man was found dead after going for a run near the town of Blue Mounds. Our Keely Arthur spoke with authorities today and joins us now with the very latest. Keely.
Susan and Eric, today marks 1 week since Day was killed and still no arrests. You might remember he was killed in the area of County Highway JG and Burgum Road. Authorities first believed he was the victim of a hit and run, but now are classifying this as a murder. Here is the information out today. Detectives would like to talk with the owner of these 3 vehicles that were seen in the area between noon and 1:30 p.m. last Wednesday. A small silver 2-door vehicle and a red vehicle, both seen on JG near Stewart County Park, and a full-sized dark-colored pickup truck near Burgum Road. Sheriff's officials are also looking for help in identifying 2 other men seen running in that area. One is described as having a full beard and wearing a brown jacket with red striping. The other is described as a white man wearing a white or off-white jogging suit. In addition to asking for help from the public, a number of officials were out near the crime scene today. That's in the area of intersection County Highway JG and Burgum Road, as we mentioned, and also the nearby Stewart Lake County Park, searching for some more answers.
Our detectives and deputies have been doing a lot of canvassing in the area, just going door to door basically and talking to people and trying to find out if they saw anything, if they heard anything. We're looking for people that might have had video, whether it was video surveillance on their house or business, or maybe, you know, even there's people that drive around with dash cams now.
The Dane County Sheriff's Department has yet to name the exact cause of Day's death publicly. When asked why, spokeswoman Elise Schaefer, who you heard in that soundbite, said because that information could compromise the investigation. As a general example, if officials are interviewing a suspect and they are able to provide information that only the killer would know, that would be a telltale sign and certainly help continue the investigation. Susan and Eric.
We'll continue to follow it. Thank you, Keely. This just in to the Channel 3000 Alert Center within the last 30 minutes. Fitchburg police say a death investigation is underway after they were sent to the bike path area near Fitchrona Road and Nesbitt Road for a report of a person found who they say appeared to have died on the path. Investigators say the death does not appear to be suspicious.
The man was trapped inside his vehicle for hours yesterday morning. This was in Lafayette County. Officials say the driver lost control of his vehicle on County Highway W, entered a ditch, rolled several times. Deputies say it was several hours before the crash was even discovered, delaying the response of emergency crews. The driver was taken to a hospital, treated, and released.
Winnebago County Sheriff's officials say a person wanted for felony warrants has died after a shooting involving officers from the SWAT team. It happened near the border of Appleton and the village of Fox Crossing. Officials say within minutes of the SWAT team arriving, there was an officer-involved shooting. The person who died was also wanted for questioning in multiple crimes.
Well, we could see some light snow tonight and the rest of the week. Let's check your first alert forecast now. Chief Meteorologist meteorologist Gary Canolti. Gary?
You know, we'll see off and on snow beginning actually right now all the way through Saturday morning, and we could see several inches of accumulation before all is said and done. You can see this large mass of clouds moving in from the south and west, and a large area of mainly light snow approaching from Iowa and Minnesota into southern Wisconsin. There are a few breaks in between some of the snow showers, but we'll see the snow become a little more widespread later on tonight. Visibility is right now pretty high across much of southern Wisconsin, but they are lower where the snow is more likely starting to come down a little heavier toward the Mississippi River. Temperatures right now are right around 30, and they're not going to change very much overnight. In fact, by morning we'll be down into the upper 20s. Look for a cloudy day with some snow showers tomorrow and a high of 34. I'll take a look at how much snow we can expect in just a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thanks. City of Madison Streets Division says it'll be working around the clock to clear the roads during the upcoming snowfall. 32 plow trucks will be out salting and plowing the streets. That'll start tonight. They'll then have 2 additional trucks to spread sand on hills and intersections. And they are reminding drivers to allow extra time when traveling and be cautious on slippery roads. Now, you can stay up to date with our weather app. It features hourly forecasts, first alert traffic as well, along with your latest radar information. You can download it for free right now. It's in your phone's app store.
Day 2 of the Senate impeachment trial is underway, with House managers delivering their opening arguments against the president. The session began less than 12 hours after the Senate approved Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's organizing resolution along party lines without accepting any of the Democrats' 11 amendments. House managers took the lectern to begin making their case for why they believe President Trump's conduct with Ukraine warrants removal from office.
When a president wields power in ways that are inappropriate and seek to extinguish the rights of the Congress, he exceeds the power of his constitutional authority.
We will challenge aggressively the case that they're putting forward.
The president's lawyers say they have not filed a motion to dismiss the impeachment trial because they are confident they will win acquittal. They'll begin their presentations later this week after the House managers finish their opening arguments. Meanwhile, Wisconsin senators are reacting to the impeachment trial.
I thought Chairman Nadler certainly didn't help their case anymore. I mean, accusing Republican senators of complicity in some kind of cover-up. That's not helpful. I think the Chief Justice was very wise to try and bring him back into a little more appropriate decorum.
I feel that too many of my Republican friends feel that their duty is to support and defend the president, not to follow their oath and support and defend the Constitution. We deserve to have a trial that is full, fair, and honest. And so far, the Republicans in the Senate have not set us on that course.
We will continue to keep you updated all week long on the impeachment trial. CBS will have special reports on the trial throughout the week.
Wisconsin lawmakers are gearing up for the State of the State address tonight.
Governor Evers will address a joint session of the legislature at 7 o'clock tonight. Our Amy Reed joins us live from the state capitol with a preview of what we can expect. Amy?
Governor Tony Evers is proud of the work that he did this year, and when he takes the podium tonight at 7, he'll talk about why. That includes bringing back pardons to the state, and he also signed dozens of bills into law, the vast majority with bipartisan support. In parts of the speech his team sent our way, he also talked about what he wants this year. That includes addressing youth vaping, capping the cost of insulin, closing the dark store loophole, and getting PFAS out of the water. Republicans told us this afternoon that they'd like to see the governor work on bipartisanship this year. They've had a rocky relationship since before Evers took office, which we'll likely hear Evers address tonight at 7 o'clock for the State of the State address. You can catch that live on our News 3 Now Facebook page.
Amy Reed live at the state capitol. Amy, thank you.
Representative Melissa Sargent has announced her candidacy for Wisconsin's 16th Senate District. Sargent has represented the 48th Assembly District for the past 7 years, as well as working as a county supervisor in Dane County for 2 terms. Sargent's announcement comes a day after longtime Democratic State Senator Mark Miller announced he will not run for re-election to that seat. Miller has served in the Senate since 2004. He is the 2nd Democratic senator to announce his retirement this month.
We're getting the first look at the newly renovated Mercy Health Hospital and Trauma Center in Janesville. The year-long renovation upgraded the operating room, radiology department, and nuclear medicine suites. Doctors at Mercy Health have also seen an increase in demand for plastic surgery and skin care, so they built a new center for those needs. Doctors will also be able to provide a wide range of procedures and services, including facial trauma surgery, hand and wrist surgery, and skin cancer treatments.
For me personally, practicing at Mercy Health for the last 5 years has been very rewarding. From helping a breast cancer patient feel good about her appearance again, to minimizing scars after a traumatic accident, to giving someone function of their hand after an injury. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of my patients, both physically and emotionally.
The total cost of the renovations is $15.3 million.
There's a nonprofit pushing for a new children's museum in Sun Prairie.
The women leading the charge say they want to create an inclusive, hands-on space for kids. Our Danica Lewis is here with more on their efforts. Danica.
So those two women leading the charge, they're both moms, and collectively they have 9 kids. They also happen to have backgrounds in early childhood education, so they want to reach as many children as possible, as quickly as possible, like the start of the next school year, if possible. To them, it's play that makes work that much easier.
You need a big foundation to build up, and if you build too high, it falls down.
No, Katie Kamoku isn't talking about the museum she wants up and running by next year. She's talking about what little museum goers will be able to learn there.
We really want to make this museum accessible and inclusive and work for everyone who wants to visit.
The work comes down to play-based learning, that is, exposing kids from toddlers through elementary school to colorful magnets, plush pastries, and whatever these are, building up their confidence, their problem solving, their creativity. Kelly Nelson also has a passion for play and this project.
This would be an amazing gift to all kids, that they could come in with an advantage, with some strong skills, so that when they come to the classroom, they can truly embrace their education and their learning and be able to build upon it and give more of a level playing field.
That educational construction will start with traveling exhibits this fall, while the board continues to raise money to raise an actual museum.
We really believe that this will help all communities, big or small.
And with Sun Prairie going through a bit of a growth spurt itself, Kamoku says it's time to get building.
And I just want to provide those opportunities for every child in our community.
Those traveling exhibits will stop at libraries and community centers around Sun Prairie. The team is still trying to finalize, though, a permanent location for the museum itself. That might be a new building or an existing one. They also want your input on exhibits. You can vote on those at explorecm.org. That is explorecm.org. That's also where you can learn a little bit more about the nonprofit supporting all this.
Very cool.
Yeah,
see where it goes.
Absolutely.
Danica, thank you.
Thanks, Danica.
Milwaukee Bucks enjoying their time in Europe ahead of their game with the Hornets. Giannis and Thanasis Antetokounmpo, Pat Connaughton, Cam Reynolds, and Dante DiVincenzo tour the Paris Saint-Germain Football Club today. The players receive their own jerseys in exchange for a Bucks jersey for PSG. The Bucks will take on the Charlotte Hornets. That'll be Friday in Paris.
The Forward Madison Soccer Club will host the UW-Madison soccer team for an exhibition game. It will happen Wednesday, April 15th at 7 o'clock. This year's game marks the third meeting between the two teams. Forward Madison beat UW-Madison 2-0 in the Flamingos' first game at Breese-Stevens Field. The teams matched up again in a scrimmage in August.
Ahead at 5, opening statements get underway in Harvey Weinstein's trial. We'll tell you how he may try to discredit his accusers.
And then coming up tonight at 6, we're learning about a new Willie Street venue and the fact that it lacks a number of permits, what this means for the future of Canopy.
And mixed numbers on Wall Street as the Dow falls 10 points in midweek trading. The Nasdaq adds 13, while the S&P ticked up a point. We'll be right back. Prosecutors called former Hollywood heavyweight Harvey Weinstein a rapist and a predator at his criminal trial as it got underway in New York. In her opening statement, the prosecutor laid out the charges in graphic detail, saying Weinstein forced himself on inexperienced women and that, quote, he was not just a titan in Hollywood, he was a rapist. More than 80 women have accused Weinstein of misconduct. The trial involves just 2 of those accusers. Weinstein's attorneys say they can back that up with dozens of affectionate emails from the accusers, but the defense displayed some of those communications in court, telling jurors they'll be shown 2 realities and that what they see will be shocking. Attorney Gloria Allred represents several of Weinstein's accusers and says the emails do not prove consent.
I expect a number of the witnesses to be able to put their emails in context to explain why they continue communication.
Weinstein says all of his sexual encounters were consensual. He said he has good lawyers and believes he'll have a fair trial. The judge expects the trial to take more than a month.
Meanwhile, Cuba Gooding Jr. arrived for his court hearing today in New York. 2 women have accused him of sexual misconduct and will be allowed to testify at his trial on charges that he groped 3 other women at Manhattan bars in 2018 and 2019. An April 21st trial date was set for Gooding Jr. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges. The coronavirus that is spreading primarily in Asia has now killed 17 people and infected 540 others in China. Chinese state media says the city of Wuhan is shutting down outbound flights and trains as the virus spreads more widely. The deadly virus has now been discovered inside the United States. A man in his 30s recently returned to Seattle from Wuhan, the epicenter of the outbreak. Many airports, including O'Hare in Chicago, are now screening patients with flu-like symptoms for the virus.
With lower than usual temperatures down in Florida, iguanas are falling from trees. Yesterday, the National Weather Service in Miami issued a rare forecast warning people to be on the lookout for iguanas falling from trees as the region experiences the coldest temperatures in 2 years. When temperatures dip below 50 degrees, South Florida's iguana population goes into shock, sending many of the lizards plummeting to the ground. Even though the cold-stunned creatures look like they're dead, they're actually not. Well, let's get a look at your first alert weather. He's not falling from any trees, but he is a little cold with the weather we've had.
The humanity.
We're warming up. Look out for falling iguanas. Gary.
No, we're just looking out for falling snowflakes, and they're showing up on radar already across southern Wisconsin. Although some of this, at least over much of south central Wisconsin, not reaching the ground. The snow farther out to the west more likely is doing so across parts of Iowa and Minnesota. 3 things you don't need to know in the forecast. Light snow will be with us off and on from tonight through tomorrow, Friday, and probably into Saturday morning before it winds down. We also may see fog reducing visibilities to less than a mile in some areas, so that coupled with the snow could make for some difficult travel conditions. And it'll be dreary but mild into next week. High temperatures will be in the mid to upper 30s for the weekend and into at least the first half of next week. Alert days remain in the forecast for tonight and Thursday into Friday for the light snow and areas of fog. Expecting about 1 to 2 inches of snow tonight. Not much in the way of accumulation during the day tomorrow, but again, fog could reduce visibility. And then Friday, we'll see some light snow with maybe an inch or so Thursday night, and then again Friday night. And we could see a mix of rain and snow from Madison southward during the afternoon on Friday. So as far as travel impacts are concerned, there might be some moderate impacts in driving from the snow, and with temperatures right around freezing. You have slush that traps water near the road, makes the cars hydroplane, and actually makes it slipperier when temperatures are closer to freezing than when it's colder and it's just plain snow blowing around. Walking shouldn't be a problem. We're not seeing much in the way of ice accumulations, and clearing the snow shouldn't be a big problem as long as you do it a couple of times, because the first round of snow may bring us an inch or 2 of snow for tonight into early tomorrow morning. The next batch, perhaps another inch or so through early Friday morning, and then another inch to maybe 2 inches from Friday night into Saturday morning before it winds down. So when all is said and done, you're probably looking at about 2 to 4 inches through much of southern Wisconsin, but again, that's spread out over about a 3-day period. There are winter weather advisories to our west across parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and west central Wisconsin. Also, not only is this visibility drop because of snow, but also fog, especially farther out to the west. Dense fog advisories have been issued over parts of western Iowa and Minnesota, and depending on how thick the fog is around here, we may need to see some dense fog advisories as well. As we look at the live view from the Edgewater Skycam, pretty cloudy and dreary out there. Low this morning, 21. Our high temperature made it up to 30, and we've been stuck around 30 pretty much ever since then. Skies are mostly cloudy. Winds are out of the south at 13 miles per hour. The The wind chill is at 20, but notice the humidity starting to creep up. As temperatures drop off a couple of degrees for tonight, we may see that fog start to form. Out in the Pacific Ocean, several storm systems, but notice they're in the northern latitude, so that brings mild Pacific air will continue to stream eastward. Once this weather system passes, the next one will basically come in with some light snow chances, and that will continue off and on through Saturday. But again, our temperatures will stay on the mild side. Look for a low of 29 tonight with light snow and some areas of fog, maybe an inch or two of accumulation. Tomorrow, some off and on snow showers with a high of 34. Future track, you can see the light snow moving in tonight, be with us off and on through the day tomorrow, into tomorrow night, and then probably into Friday as well, when it could mix in with a little rain south of Madison. As far as snow amounts are concerned, again, about 1 to 2 inches tonight, maybe another inch during the day tomorrow into tomorrow night, and then maybe another inch or two from tomorrow night into Saturday morning before it winds down. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you see those temperatures staying mild all the way through next week. Look for another chance of snow Wednesday and Thursday of next week before it turns a little colder at the end of the week. As we check out first alert traffic right now, things right now have been pretty good on the Beltline. Traffic heavy, but moving steadily in both directions. Right now, we're seeing some delays from about Monona Drive back to around Park Street. Westbound, some delays from around Fish Hatchery Road to Park Street. As far as travel times are concerned, right now, about 20 minutes in either direction on the Beltline between University Avenue and I-3990. Heading out of Madison, look for about a 25-minute commute from the Beltline southward to Janesville. It's a 17-minute commute on US 12 out to Sauk City from Middleton, and 16 minutes on East Washington Avenue, US 151 to Sun Prairie. That's your News 3 Now First Alert Traffic.
Thank you, Gary.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, the popularity of electric vehicles is accelerating. We'll tell you why after a short break. Automakers are offering more electric vehicles, but many people are hesitant to buy them. Doug Shoup from AAA says most people don't buy EVs because they worry about finding a place to charge them. But there are now thousands of charging stations across the country and plenty of apps and websites that show exactly where those charging stations are. The big downside, the price tag for electric cars, often around 80% more than a gas-powered equivalent.
Electric vehicles tend to depreciate more than their gas-powered counterparts. So the cost factor of an electric vehicle is slightly more, about $600 more per year.
A new survey from AAA finds 96% of electric vehicle owners would buy or lease one again. 2 out of 5 electric car owners say they drive more now than when they owned a gas-powered vehicle.
The information that a lot of women share with health apps may not be as protected as you think. An estimated 50 million women around the world use apps to track things like their monthly cycles and fertility, entering very sensitive personal information. Consumer Reports Digital Lab examined 5 popular tracking apps. They found no major security flaws in the apps, but they did find some minor issues regarding security and privacy and alerted the companies.
Some moved very quickly to make changes to the points that we raised. Others were just commenting about how important privacy is to them.
One way you can protect how much information you share, turn off location sharing to the app, as well as access to your camera. Also use a password manager to encrypt your password, limit ad tracking in your phone settings, and accept app updates that can fix bugs. And remember, the information that you share is not covered by any federal health laws.
And stay with us. We'll have a final check of your forecast when we return.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, Democrats make their case for President Trump's removal from office and what the president said about the evidence Democrats want for the trial. The mystery Chinese virus spreads, deaths spike, airports step up screenings, and why the World Health Organization may label it an international emergency. Plus, you've heard of therapy dogs, but what about a therapy bull? We'll tell you about it. That's all tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And Gary's here now. Cole, and we're watching for some snow.
Yeah, some snow may be falling in parts of our viewing area. The more likely areas of snow are closer toward the Mississippi River, where those visibilities are a little bit lower. Here in Madison, maybe just a few flakes, if that. But temperatures right now right around 30. They're not going to change very much. Look for highs tomorrow, mid-30s. We'll stay in the mid-30s all the way through the middle of next week.
All right, we're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.